Okay, we're looking at factorisation again, quadratic factorisation. This is called the difference of two squares, and when you're doing it you use a different method to the previous quadratic factorisation that we have looked at. It's also a lot easier to actually do. The hard part is recognising that you have to do it. Now let's have a look at it. It's called the difference of two squares. That is because both terms are squares. Look at that one. X squared is obviously a square because it's something squared, and 144 you should see is a square number. 12 times 12 gives 144. Look at this one. You got 64, that's a square number, and your x squared, that's square. Down here you've got a 25, that's a square number, and you've got an x squared. We said that's a square already. 81 is a square number, and your y squared is also a square. It's called the difference of two squares because how do you find the difference of two numbers? You subtract. Subtract. So here are two squares, and we found the difference of them by subtracting. So if you ever are asked to factorise an expression and that expression contains two squares and a minus in between, you use this method and you should find it very easy. Like I say, the hard part is to realise that that's what you've got to do. So just like before, I'll open up two brackets like that, and we're always going to follow the same basic rule. That part there is x squared, the square root is x, so we put x here and x here. The second part, 144, find the square root of that, and that is 12, because 12 times 12 is 144. So 12 goes up that side and 12 goes on this side. It always stays on the right side, so we've got x's on the left, so we have x's on the left. 144 on the right, so we've got the 12 and the 12 on the right side of the brackets. And now the last part is to fill in the middles, and it's always the same. One's positive, one's negative. So we've got a plus 12 and a negative 12. It doesn't matter which way around they go. Okay? So that is the difference of two squares. Let's try another one. You see the difference here? We've started off with the number, and the letter part, the x squared, comes second. That doesn't matter at all. You carry on as you would. So empty brackets, like that. Square root of 64 on the left, so square root of 64, 8. And the left side of this one, 8 as well. Your x squared, square root of x squared is x, so x goes on the right, and on the right here, x, x, and again, just like before, one's positive and one's negative. Plus, minus. Nice and easy. Next one, last one. This is a bit harder than the others. This is actually an A grade question. The others are B grade questions. So, once again, it's only a bit harder because they've got numbers and letters together. Numbers and letters, so but we still follow the same basic principle. Open your brackets, like that. Now look at the left hand side. We've got 25, square number. The square root of that is 5, so we're going to put 5 and 5. And the x squared, the square root of that is x. So we put an x next to the 5. In both places, so we've got two 5x's on the left. Now we look at the other side, we've got 81, and the square root of that is 9, and we've got y squared, the square root of that being y, 9 and y. So we put those on the right hand side, 9y, 9y, and just like before, one's a plus, one's a minus, plus, minus, and that's it, all done. That's quadratic factorisation, the difference of two squares.